Hey, hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia, and today we're going to be going through all of the books that I read during May. I literally cannot believe that it's already June. That means it's almost summer. Well, not really. And I read a total of 7 books this month. I read a total of 7 books during May, and I'm just going to go through all of them. I was in a weird reading mood this month, so I was not really feeling physical reads for the first part of the month. First book that I picked up was actually an audiobook, and this one I was so glad I found it through my library, and that is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I've been looking for The Bell Jar literally everywhere, and I have not been able to find it. Sylvia Plath is such an amazing writer, and I really love just the way she writes, and oh my god, it's burning hot here. And so I was really excited when I saw this audiobook. I really loved it. It's kind of like an interesting story. It's about this woman set in the 50s, and it's just kind of about her life. She is kind of having some depression, and she's also having a job in New York, and it's just, I can't really explain it that well, but I really liked that it was kind of a snapshot into the 50s, and I found that really interesting because obviously it was written at that time, so for that time it was very contemporary, but for me it was kind of more like historical, which I really enjoyed. And I liked that it was very similar to Sylvia Plath's own life, and it was kind of semi-autobiographical for her, and I just found it really interesting, and I really liked it. It had some asylum-y elements, which I really enjoyed. And overall, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and today's emoji book rating is going to be the like comment emoji. Yeah. So I gave this 5 stars because I really love her writing, and I love the story a lot, and I don't know, I really liked it, and I really want to pick up the book. The next book that I read was An Abundance of Katherines by John Green. I've had this book for forever. This is John Green's second book. This is basically all about this guy, Colin, who has literally only dated girls named Catherine, and like for 19 times, and then he just kind of goes on this road trip with his best friend to try and like break his rut, and like it's right after this last Catherine dumps him, and he's trying to figure out this like equation for love and stuff. I love John Green. I really do. I love The Fault in Our Stars, and I love Looking for Alaska, and those are the only other John Green books I think I've read. But this one kind of fell flat for me. I thought it was kind of generic, and it was a little more like boring and slow paced. Didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would because it was just John Green, and like it was his second book, so I'm not like mad about it or anything. It was pretty enjoyable. The ending is kind of predictable, but what are you gonna do? It was pretty good. I enjoyed the story, and for the most part the plot and characters were okay. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. So for 3 out of 5 stars, for me it usually means that it was just about an average read. Nothing extraordinary, but not bad. I can't remember if I only listened to the audiobook for this or if I read a little bit of it. I think I've read like a teeny bit. But that is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X. Arpan. I'm so happy that I picked this up this month. The audiobook was available through my library once again, and I do have the beautiful physical copy here. This is a magical realism about a girl whose mother commits suicide, and she believes that her mother has turned into a bird. And so it's like her journey going to Taiwan, and she's meeting new family that she never knew, and there's of course this like bird aspect and magical sort of thing, and it's so beautiful. Oh my god, the writing is amazing, and the story is just so wonderful, and it's so good, and it's really heavy, but it's just dealt with so beautifully. The writing's like lyrical and gorgeous, and I literally love this book so much, so much. I thought it was really good, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is such a worthwhile read. I definitely recommend you pick it up. It is so good, and it's a debut. I was in a fantasy mood this month, if you can't tell. I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. Look at this cover. I have like the fancy spines. I have finally started the Shadowhunter Chronicles. Is that what they're called? Shadowhunter books? I partially listened to the audiobook and partially read it. I really like that the font is really big on this. I don't know. It's kind of a nice surprise, I guess. I don't know. And I really liked this story. It was super good. It threw me for a loop, man. There were some things I was like, yeah, like it's her mom, and then it was like, oh my god. But then there were other things I was like, what is going on? And I literally cannot wait to read the next ones. I think I'm gonna listen to the next audiobook, but I really want to buy the books. I want to make sure that I have the books, because when I listen to audiobooks, typically it's because I don't have that physical book, but I want to have the books too. Anyways, I really like this book. It's literally a cult classic. Gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was super enjoyable. I literally could not put this book down when I was listening to it, when I was reading it, but I literally, there was no time where I was not listening to this or reading it, and it was so good. So good. I can't words. The next book that I finished during May is Ignite Me by Tara Mafi. This is the last book in the Shatter Me trilogy, which is now not a trilogy, but whatever. Last month I read Unravel Me and Shatter Me. I really liked Shatter Me. I didn't really like it as much in Unravel Me, and this kind of had the same sort of problems for me. I felt like the characters just drastically changed. And I'm not going to talk about the plot at all because it is the 3rd book in a series, but I felt like it was just such this like sudden change and shift in characters that was like not expecting, and that didn't really make sense to me, because just like characters that I really loved in the first book just all of a sudden started acting really out of character, and I thought that that didn't make sense, and I thought that was kind of used more as like to further the plot rather than like what the characters would actually be doing, if that makes any sense. So I really didn't appreciate that, and I really didn't like it. I still liked the story, I guess, and like where the characters were going and things like that, and like I love Kenji and I love James, and they're about the sweetest things in the world, but other than that, every other character I'm kind of mad at. Probably won't pick up Restore Me just because I didn't really love this book. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think it was enjoyable and it's quick for me to read. It didn't really take me that long, even though I was like putting this off for a while. I had a lot of problems with it. Whatever. Oh fuck. The last book that I finished during May was Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. This is, again, the last book in a trilogy. This is the last book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone and Days of Blood and Starlight in January, and like I kept wanting to pick this up, but I did not want to finish the series. I was so happy with how this ended, and this book was a wild frickin' ride, but it was so worth it. It's literally like 600 pages, or wait, how much is it? 600 pages, and it's like a beast of a book, but I loved every second of it. I love all the characters. They're literally all my babies, Zuri, and there's so much character development and just so much world building, and Laini Taylor really takes her time with books, and she really didn't do me wrong here. It was like literally perfect, this book. Do I even have any complaints about it? The beginning was a little slow. Okay. I'll give it that. The beginning was a little slow. It was kind of a slower burn in the beginning. I also noticed that with the second book, and I think that's just because like it's a new book. You have to like get back into the story. But other than the first, what, like 100 pages maybe, it was really go, and I was like so invested. So I ended up giving this a 4.5 out of 5 stars because just like that 1/2 star for the beginning. But other than that, it's so beautifully written, and Laini Taylor writes amazing, and I love her. So good. And yeah, if you haven't picked up Daughter of Smoke and Bone, what are you doing? I actually forgot that was not the last book that I read in May. The last book that I actually read in May was A Madness of Discrete by Mindy McGinnis. I really liked this book. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I was gonna read this around like Halloween time, which is when like I purchased it, but I just ended up reading it in May because after the bell jar I was like in an asylum-y mood, so I was really feeling this. This is about a girl named Grace who is pregnant, and so she's sent to an asylum, and it's in the 1800s, I believe. So there's like all the asylum-y things, and she kind of meets up with this doctor and he helps her do some stuff, and they end up solving murders. So it was really great. I love learning about forensics. I love criminal minds, so like, you know, this book is my shit. It really surprised me. I really didn't think I was gonna like it as much as it did, and I'm really happy that I did. So this was a really good read. I recommend if you are looking for a mystery thriller. It's not really a thriller, creepy kind of book. I don't know. So now on to my TBR for June. First book that I would like to read, or actually finish, is Autobiography by Christina Lauren. I'm about halfway through and I'm really loving it, but I don't have too much to say yet. so you'll have to stay tuned for my wrap up next month. I basically want to read a lot of contemporaries because it's summertime and like everyone reads contemporaries in the summer, even though you can tell that I read like fantasy and asylum books. I'm in a contemporary mood right now, so I have some here that I think I might end up picking up. The first one is Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour, and this is about something about like filmmaking. Some girl wants to do filmmaking. That's cool. This one, which is Drama High by Michael Sokolov, and this is the book that inspired Rise, the TV show, which got canceled, which makes me sad, but I really love Rise and I wanted to read this book. And then I also have here Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. Obviously, I've been wanting to read this book forever, since maybe 8th grade, and I just hadn't picked it up, so I found it on Amazon and I bought it. And yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe, like, comment, do all of the things, and I will see you in my very next video. Bye!